You're listening to the Dynamic Thinking Project podcast. This is episode 16, and today's topic is knowing when it's enough. Hey everyone, this is Adam Musellihi. Welcome to the Dynamic Thinking Project podcast. If this is your first time listening, then thanks for coming. This podcast is released every Friday, and show notes are found at the website, themindtechinstitute.com. It's all one word. Come back often and feel free to add this podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. You can also follow me on Twitter and Facebook. All links are in the show notes and website. And now, let's get into the show. This episode also might be a bit emotional to some people, especially those who relate to this topic. Today, I was meant to publish an episode about a parapsychological phenomenon. But due to several emails I've received since last episode asking me to talk about how do we know when it's enough, especially in relationships. And that's what we call in counseling psychology, toxic relationships. However, this topic or episode doesn't only apply to relationships, but also applies to everything in general, such as friendship, business, a job, a problem, or anything that gives you grief or you're not happy with. So just for the sake of covering much about this subject in this episode, I'll be focusing more on relationships as an example and surely as requested. Now, 3 out of 8 emails that I've received requesting this episode are in a severe abusive relationship. So you know who you are, and I just want to tell you that I'm sorry that you're going through this. And since you requested this episode, it means you're willing to listen. And you're willing to listen with an open mind and consider what I'm saying. I'm not going to tell you what to do, by the way, because I have no right to interfere with your destiny or better say choices. It's your life. It's your battle. But I'm here to show you how to win if you're willing to win. Because once again, it's a choice. I'm going to get straight to the point here now, and let's ask the big question. What is exactly a toxic relationship, and how do you know if you're in one? Now, I don't know where this boat is going to take us in this episode, but let me first get to the definition of toxic relationship as we teach in counseling, in hypnotherapy, and in NLP. You see, by definition, a toxic relationship is characterized by behaviors on the part of the toxic partner that are emotionally and not occasionally physically damaging the other partner. So it is on a psychological level, and then it leads to the physical level, and it leads to severely damaging the partner. You see, while healthy relationship contributes to our self-esteem and emotional energy, a toxic relationship damages self-esteem and drains energy out. But a healthy relationship involves in mutual caring, respect, compassion, an interest in our partner's welfare and growth, an ability to share a decision-making. So in short, a shared desire for each other's happiness. A healthy relationship is a safe relationship. A relationship where we can be ourselves without fear. A place where we feel comfortable and secure. But a toxic relationship, on the other hand, is not a safe place. A toxic relationship is characterized by insecurity, by self-centeredness, dominance, narcissism, control. We risk our very being by staying in such a relationship. So to say a toxic relationship is dysfunctional is at best an understatement. Even a good relationship may have a brief period of behavior. You see, human beings, after all, are not perfect. But any relationship involving physical violence or substance abuse is by definition extremely toxic and requires immediate intervention. While these relationships are not necessarily, let's say, irreparable or fixable, I cannot emphasize too much how destructive they are. If you're in such a relationship, get help now. I honestly don't know where you go because I don't know where you live. It depends on where you live. But I know that you know how to get help. I'm sure where you live there could be some centers, maybe, I don't know, maybe at church, I don't know. But I know if you ask around, you would know. And if you are in such a relationship, especially when there is a physical abuse, get help now. And get help from a qualified person or qualified place. Someone who's willing to help, not just sell you words. Now, I know some people would say that it's not easy, especially if we have children together. And they say, I don't want to leave them and I don't want them to live without their other significant partner. And I tell you, you know what? It's easier to live without the other significant partner if he or she is abusive. Why? Because your children that you love so much deserve peace. And they deserve their right to be children. Not to be with an abusive parent because they might end up just like him or her. You see, monkey see, monkey do, regardless. Also, if your partner is an energy vampire or an empath who drains your energy out to survive, then you need to let go of that partner before you go. And I mean, before you go for good. That doesn't only apply on your partner or relationships, but everyone who is an energy vampire. It's all about balance, especially those who consider themselves the carers of the world. That's why you're always feeling tired and dead, because you surrounded yourself with people that need you. And I tell you this, in this world, you have more people who need you than people who feed you. And you wonder why you cannot breathe. Well, you're a good person. You want to be there for everybody, but over a period of time you get suffocated by the cares of this world, by those who you care so much about, but you're forgetting the most important part, and that is you become the best dumping place for those people. And I'm not sorry to tell you this because you gotta wake up. People, they come to you whenever they have their trash, and they come to you to dump their trash at you. A free trash bin. Well, did you get upset with me for saying that? Well, listen. These people, these very people, they go to bed after they empty out everything they have on you. And you're the poor person who stays awake thinking what to do for them. Yes, we do counseling at the Mindtech Institute, but we're not a dumping place here. And that's how we teach and train all our counseling and hypnotherapy students. We help people to manage their life, but we don't carry their lives. Because if you do, the choker will choke you. Because carrying people's lives will take your own life. Once again, it's all about balance. You're giving them from your own energy reserve tank, and you just have a limited amount, barely enough for you. Now, you know why some friendship or relationships drown you down and you lose your dreams or you lose your even identity with them? Simply because you have no more energy to continue. God or the universe or whatever you believe in had designed everything in the right balance and wisdom. So if you don't have enough energy to walk, your body will not allow you to walk, because if you do, your heart might give up. It's all about balance. So what do you do with energy vampires or empaths? The first thing is you must learn how to say no. When someone is dumping on you, shake it off. Just don't listen to them. Tell them, call me back if they call you. And if they call you, tell them, call me back later. Tell them I'm busy right now. Tell them I'm only available during certain hours. You're not being selfish when you do that. Not at all. Well, as a matter of fact, you're keeping yourself alive. You're saving yourself. And if you don't learn how to say no, well, that's suicide by consent. You gotta say enough. And if you don't know how to say it with me now. Just say enough. If you want to scream it out loud. Say enough. And it's not that they are not important. It's not like that I don't care or I'm some selfish bastard. But I just can't carry more than I can. And I cannot do more than I could. Enough. Enough pain. Enough suffering. Enough being the victim. Enough being the sacrificed lamb so others can survive. Don't ever sell your dreams for cheap. Don't ever give your life for others. Because I assure you, no one will do the same for you. No one. Period. So it's better to say the word enough than ending up in a body bag. And do you know those people who you gave your life to? Do you know what they will say after you're long gone? They will say, what a good person you were. That's it. That's it. They will remember you as the good dumping place. And they will go living their lives looking for another victim. Just another good dumping place. Let me tell you this. You were always there for them. You were always there for that partner. You were always there for whoever that is. But you were never there for you. Enough. If there is one word you gotta remember from this episode, it's gotta be the word enough. You see, I said it before you. And I had my fair share in this too. And I've learned how to say it the hard way. People are so good seeing you where you are when you're successful. And claim to be your family or your friends. But ask them this. Where were you when I was struggling and sacrificing every bit of my being and working my soul off to achieve my success? Where were you? I'll tell you where you were. You're watching TV. Where were you when I was sleeping in an old car with a broken knee? I couldn't walk, I couldn't work, and didn't even have money for the surgery. Where were you? You were sleeping on your comfortable bed. You were so good at asking for more with no shame, but you were very bad at asking how I was doing. And now, you're coming to celebrate my success? You see, I said enough. I learned how to say enough, and I became so good at it. Not because I'm hateful, but because I'm faithful. I cried it out, and I learned how to work it out. You see, when you start running out of time and energy, you get tired and you get desperate. You start pushing people away from you because they are asking something of you that you cannot give anymore. And you find yourself in a place of depletion, and it feels like God or the whole universe have forgotten about you. But I remind you that nothing just happens. You'll feel the whole world starts to walk away from you. Everyone will just walk away from you. And hear me when I tell you this. When people walk away from you, let them walk. Let me say that again because I don't think it hit home yet. When people walk away from you, let them walk. Don't try to talk a person into staying with you. Don't try to talk to another person into loving you, into calling you, into caring about you, into come and see you, or into staying in touch with you, or even thinking or dreaming about you. When people walk away from you, let them walk. Regardless who they are, or how much they mean to you. When they can walk away from you, just let them walk, because your destiny or your life is not tied to that person who left. Otherwise, he or she will not leave you. You see, if my own arm, is gonna cost me my life, I will chop it off. And my arm was born with me, by the way. But whoever that person is, wasn't born with me. So I can live without him or I can live without her. Let them walk. Your destiny or your life is not tied to anybody that left. People leave you because they aren't adjoined to you. And if they aren't adjoined to you, let them go. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means that your part in their story is over. And you got to know when people's part in your story is over, so you don't keep trying to get back what's already gone. It's like trying to raise the dead after they're long gone. You gotta know when it's enough, and you need to let go. I let many people go, including the closest to me. And once again, it's not that I'm hateful, but because I am faithful. And I know if something needs too much sweat, I don't need it. And you gotta stop begging people to stay. Let them go. If anything is costing you more than it's giving you back, let it go. You don't need it. And you know what? There is another side of this. Sometimes you get to meet a person and you sense that your destiny is tied to that person. Somehow you sense it. Do you understand that in marriage or relationship, we're spending our lives together? Have you realized that you can spend your life anywhere or on anything, but something happens inside of you? When you sense your destiny is tied to that significant person and you decide to spend your life with that person. You see, people talks about spending their money. That's nothing. But when I spend my life with you, that's all I have. And you must appreciate that. And of course, whoever you are with or whoever you decided to stay with, they must appreciate that because your life is all you have. You spend $1 now, you can get it back tomorrow. You spend $1 million now, you can get it back. But if spend only 1 minute with someone on something isn't healthy or in a toxic relationship, that minute no one can get it back for you. Even you cannot get it back. In a relationship, we're spending our lives together. You will not be able to write your story and leave me out. It's a whole lifetime. The greatest bond. It's a cosmic bond in the most intimate connection possible. And that is a healthy relationship, where two are completing each other, living together, healing each other. That's a healthy relationship. And it's a beautiful relationship. And I know some people, they might say, well, that doesn't exist. Well, I say to you, how can you see outside if you're living in a box? In that box, that's all you know. All you know, it's what's inside your box. You gotta get out. You gotta see the world. There's still some good people out there. And I still have a bit of faith in humanity. And so you could. You see, maybe the world isn't the most positive place, but it's not necessarily that you should live a miserable life. It's your life, and it's your choice how you make it. I think I should wrap it up now. And I hope that you learned something from this episode. And once again, I really didn't prepare for this episode. I had another episode in mind, but I hope that you learned something. So, once again, time is racing us. Thank you for listening. If you have any question or if you have any topic that you want me to talk about, you can email me, and the email is on our website. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And of course, this podcast is also available on YouTube. So, as you know already, the Dynamic Thinking Project podcast is released every Friday. Until next time, take care and you have a good weekend. This is Adam Muselli, signing out.